You don't value someone's attention because they are high quality. You value it because it is rare. So let's just stop and think about that for a second. It kind of flies in the face of everything we've been taught, right? That working harder, trying more, pouring your soul into something should make it more valuable. But what if in relationships, it's actually a warning sign? And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the paradox we're going to unpack today: emotional rationing. This is what happens when someone deliberately turns their attention into a scarce commodity, basically ensuring that you're the one who's always chasing, always trying, always thinking about them. It feels like this intense, all-consuming love, but it's not. It's a state of deep psychological hunger. And today, we're going to take a look at the blueprint. To really get our heads around this, we're going to need a roadmap. So, we'll start by defining this whole rarity paradox. Then, we'll look at exactly how this system gets built, piece by piece. After that, we'll get into the brain science, why it's so incredibly addictive. And, most importantly, we're going to arm you with a toolkit to break the cycle, before we wrap up with a crucial distinction that could honestly change everything. Okay, so first things first, we have to put a name to what we're talking about. Because once you can name something, once you can see it for the pattern that it is, it stops being this confusing, personal thing that's all about your worth. You see it for what it is, a system. Now, here's the key thing you gotta understand. Emotional rationing isn't really about emotions. It's about control. It's a strategy where one person intentionally makes their validation, their praise, even just their presence, really hard to get. And, it's like basic economics, right? When the supply of something goes down, its perceived value just skyrockets. They aren't actually offering you something more precious. They're just making it seem that way by making it scarce. And this metaphor is just perfect because it shows you the real danger here. It's not just about wanting someone's attention. It's about how this whole system, slowly, piece by piece, starts to build a cage around your self-worth. Every tiny little bit of affection they throw your way, every little crumb, it becomes another bar in that cage. You start to believe that your value is tied to your ability to get that next crumb. And pretty soon, you've totally forgotten what a full meal even feels like. So how is this cage even built? Well, it's not random. It's not an accident. It has a very specific blueprint, a psychological architecture that is, frankly, terrifyingly effective. This right here, this is the engine that drives the whole thing. Intermittent reinforcement is, no joke, one of the most powerful behavioral tools ever discovered. It's literally the same principle that makes slot machines in Vegas so addictive. Think about it. If a slot machine paid out every single time, you'd get bored. If it never paid out, you just walk away. But because it pays out randomly, unpredictably, your brain gets absolutely hooked on the possibility of the next win. The person doing the rationing is using that exact same principle on you. And this slide just lays out the shift so perfectly, the before and after. Most of these situations start out in a state of emotional abundance. Everything feels amazing. You feel secure, you feel seen, things are consistent, and then the switch flips. And you're plunged into emotional austerity. All that security is gone, replaced by anxiety. Consistency is replaced by chaos. Your entire nervous system is basically being held hostage by their unpredictability. Now, to keep you stuck in that anxious state, the system relies on two really clever mind traps. First up is the austerity trap. The second they pull away, your brain immediately goes, "Oh no, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this?" You automatically assume their withdrawal is your fault. Then, right after that, comes the gratitude trap. After a long, painful drought of attention, they give you one tiny compliment, and you feel this overwhelming flood of relief and gratitude. You become fiercely loyal for a single pellet of affection that, honestly, you wouldn't have even noticed back in the good old days. And all of this unfolds in a really deliberate 3-act drama. First, you've got the saturation phase. This is the classic love bombing stage. It's intense, it's amazing, and it floods your brain with dopamine. It sets this incredibly high baseline for what the relationship feels like. They become your main source of good feelings. Then, boom, the austerity shift. No warning, no explanation, the attention is just cut off. Your brain, which is now jonesing for its dopamine hit, goes into a full-blown panic. And finally, right when you're at your breaking point, just about to give up, they give you the pellet reward. One nice text, one small gesture, just a tiny crumb. And this right here is the heart of the whole illusion. See, the power of that crumb isn't in the crumb itself, it's in the starvation that came before it. The withdrawal creates such an intense state of anxiety that when that little reward finally comes, it doesn't just feel good, it feels like a rescue. Your brain isn't celebrating a genuine connection, it's just celebrating that the pain has stopped for a minute. And that confusion, mistaking relief for happiness, that is the very essence of the addiction. So yeah, this cycle creates way more than just a bad habit. It actually forges a real, legitimate neurochemical dependency in your brain. This isn't about you being weak or lacking willpower. This is your biology getting hijacked. I mean, think about it. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. That's what it does. So when the reward, their attention, just vanishes, your brain doesn't just get sad. It flags it as a critical problem that has to be solved. You get obsessed with questions like, what happened? What do I need to do to get back to the good times? You become completely consumed with solving the puzzle of them, and pretty soon you're addicted to the chase itself. And this table just brilliantly illustrates the tragic conflict at the center of all this. You guys are playing two completely different games with two totally different rulebooks. The controller, they're motivated by a need for leverage. Their goal is absolute control. They get their power by keeping you off balance. But you, the target, you're just motivated by a need for validation. All you want is to get back to those good times. You're trying to repair a connection while they're trying to manage an asset. So what the controller is doing is exploiting this really common glitch in our thinking called the scarcity heuristic. You see it in marketing all the time, right? Limited time offer, only 2 left in stock. Our brains are just hardwired to assume that if something is rare, it must be valuable. The controller is just applying that same principle to their own attention. They make it seem like this 5-star luxury good when, in reality, it might just be, well, unavailable. Over time, living like this, it actually changes you. It creates what some psychologists call the Deprivation-Super-Response tendency. Your whole nervous system gets rewired. You become hypervigilant, constantly scanning their mood, analyzing every word in their texts, searching for any tiny scrap of approval. A neutral text from them feels like a disaster, and a slightly positive one feels like you just won the lottery. Your emotional thermostat is now completely in their hands. Okay, that was a lot, I know, and it's pretty heavy stuff. But now we get to the most important part. We've diagnosed the problem, we've looked at the blueprint, so now let's talk about how to actually dismantle this cage and take back your power. All right, step 1 is a complete mindset shift. I call it the supply audit. You have to stop seeing your intense, desperate feelings as proof of your deep love. They're not. They're data. That feeling of walking on eggshells, that's data. That anxious knot in your stomach, that's data. And the data is screaming that there's a problem with your emotional supply chain. So you have to ask the hard question. Is this person actually meeting my needs? Or am I just feeling the relief an addict feels when their dealer finally calls back? And the magic of this audit is that it lets you see the austerity trap for what it is. You realize their coldness isn't a problem for you to solve. It's a tactic they are using to control you. And that awareness, man, that is everything. That's the moment you stop trying to win their rigged game and realize you can just get up and walk away from the table. So once you're aware, the next move is source diversification. Look, you cannot get water from a dry well. You have to stop pouring all of your energy into trying to fix this one person. Instead, start investing that energy into fixing your own support system. Think about it. Who in your life gives you consistent, stable, no strings attached validation? Call that person, reconnect, start putting your energy where it's actually appreciated and returned. This is how you starve the dynamic of its power, which, by the way, is your undivided attention. And this really just gets to the core truth that this whole system tries to make you forget. In a healthy relationship, you don't have to earn your place. Your presence is enough. You shouldn't have to audition or constantly prove yourself just to get basic respect. A seat at the table should already be yours. And anyone who makes you feel like you have to fight for scraps from that table, well, maybe that's not a table you should be sitting at. Okay, let's bring it all home with the single most important idea that I really hope you take away from this. It's the difference between two feelings that seem really similar in the moment, but are actually worlds apart. That feeling you get, that rush when the person rationing their attention finally gives you that little pellet, that's not happiness. It's not love. It is relief. It's the temporary stopping of pain. And relief is the signature feeling of an addiction cycle. It's a symptom of the problem, not a sign that things are getting better. Real happiness in a connection feels like peace, it feels like security, it doesn't feel like the frantic high of finally getting your fix. It's just such a simple, powerful way to say it, isn't it? The entire system of emotional rationing works by making you so hungry that you start to believe a crumb is a feast. But it's a lie. A crumb will never, ever be enough. It's just designed to keep you hungry enough to keep coming back for more. Breaking the cycle starts the second you decide that you deserve a whole meal. So I want to leave you with this one last thought. Your heart, your peace of mind, your self-worth, that is your private property, and you get to be the gatekeeper. You are allowed to evict anyone who uses your natural human need for connection as a weapon to control you. You are allowed to choose abundance. And you are always, always allowed to walk away from any table where love is only being served in crumbs.